Good day, everybody. We got ourselves here an 07 Yota 4Runner, and the customer had somebody replace an O2 sensor because the check engine light was on. Oh my god, because the check engine light was on one time and they had it scanned at the AutoZone or something. The trouble code had something to do with a O2 sensor or an air fuel ratio sensor, and then they had a shop replace it, and now the check engine light is on with all these other lights on. So now they're here and they would like me to find out what is going on with this thing. So stay tuned, this is going to be a really good video. First things first, I'm going to retrieve these trouble codes to see if the code that is now stored is the same one that they say that it was last time. So let's find Toyota. Yep. Loading. Automatic ID. Alright, looks like it's got a P0031 oxygen air fuel ratio sensor. Heater control circuit is low. That's heater circuit, not the actual sensing element. So it's saying B1S1, that's bank 1, sensor 1. So let's get this into the shop and verify that the correct sensor was replaced the first time, and we will go from there. Okay, so like I said, someone's already replaced one of the heated oxygen sensors in this truck, but let's go ahead and make sure that it indeed was bank 1, sensor 1 before we do anything else here. Let's see. Yeah, looks like it. There's our sensor down yonder. See it right there sticking out of the exhaust, and that looks pretty nice and shiny. So I believe we have a misdiagnosis that has taken place here. Okay, just for fun, let's take a look at this other upstream sensor, and that one right there looks pretty new also. Okay, after reviewing the firing order, this right here is cylinder number 1. Therefore, this is bank 1. So this sensor here is the one that's in question. But like I just mentioned, this one is also new, so something else is going on here besides just the sensors. Unless these are cheapo Chinesium sensors, which is a possibility. The customer, from what I understand, supplied the parts themselves. Another thing to note, that each bank of sensors, you know, I mentioned there's a sensor 1 and sensor 2. Well, there's 4 sensors here. There's one on each cylinder bank. Sensor 1 is the ones that are in front of the catalytic converter, and sensor 2 are the sensors that are behind the catalytic converter. The upstream bank 1 sensors, those monitor the actual air fuel ratio of the engine, and the bank 2 sensors monitor the efficiency of the catalytic converter. Before we get in too deep, I'm going to reach back here and make sure this is make sure this is plugged in, which it's not. Okay, I believe I just solved the problem here. Maybe I should plug this sensor back in and see what happens next. Wow. No way. I can't believe I just found that the way that I just found that. That's great. Well, it looks like this is going to be a short video after all. Okay, there's my plug. That's the harness side, and let's try to compare this to the sensor side. And I believe that those plugs don't match properly. It's tough to see. I'm trying to get it plugged in. Yeah, that's just not even it's not even going in. There, oh, I got it, there, I got it. It clicked right in. Okay, let's remount this and see what the deal is here. Okay, back to the scan tool. Okay, now that I've found something wrong that was staring at me in the face, let's pull up some live data here and see if we can see what that sensor is doing now. All right, here's engine data. Let's go into air fuel / oxygen sensor data. Collecting. Okay, so we got air fuel sensor, bank 1 sensor 1, and bank 2 sensor 1. Both of those have switching voltages, which is normal, and that means they are connected now, since I definitely just verified that they are connected by connecting them. Okay, well, seeing as how I don't have any data that indicates that there's a fault present at this point, I'm going to go ahead and clear all these trouble codes right now, and I will take this thing out on a test drive just to make sure that there's no trouble codes that end up resetting at this point. But I do believe that the mystery has been solved, since I found a component that was disconnected. You can see here lights are off now, and so are all this track control and VDC lights. Fun fact on Toyotas, when a check engine light comes on, it'll also kick on the warning lights for ABS and traction control. It does that because the ABS module and the track module cannot do its job if it does not have the correct inputs from the engine computer. And since the engine computer has a known fault, then it shuts down those other two modules, which in turn turns on a warning light for the other modules. Okay, let's go take this thing on a test drive and see if there's any other issues I can come up with here. I'm assuming this is one of those cases where somebody told them they could do it for cheaper. You know, my brother's neighbor's cousin's friend is a mechanic or something, and he does side work on the weekends. I think that might have been one of these situations, and as with most things, you tend to get what you pay for, and I think that's what they got here in this with this repair. Is they did this on the cheap, and they got cheap results. That being said, I'm glad I was able to kind of resolve this problem without just loading the parts cannon and firing more sensors at this car, because the person thought that they were going to have to, you know, buy another one of those air-fuel ratio sensors. In the Toyotas, those are a wideband air-fuel ratio, not just an oxygen presence sensor. Because of that, the sensing elements are much more sophisticated, and consequently they are much more pricey. I've seen these elements in the Toyotas cost anywhere up to like $350 to $400 just for one of the sensors. Whoa, I got a brake vibe. But it doesn't matter how much your sensor costs if it's not plugged in, and that's what the case was in this situation right here. Alrighty, so this road trip on this car does not really reveal to me any other drivability concerns. This thing does have some problems that I'm going to document and recommend repair of later on. I saw a pretty crusty battery. It's got a tire light on. I just noticed a brake vibration. So there are some maintenance items that this car could really go for, but I don't think that's what's going to happen today. I believe their primary concern was to make sure that they got this check engine light taken care of, and to make sure that those sensors that they had already purchased and installed were not faulty. So, all that being said, I'd like to thank everybody for watching this short video. I hope you found the content at least moderately entertaining. I actually had fun figuring this one out, just because the fix was so simple and kind of stupid, to tell you the truth. And that's something that never should have happened, but it did, and these things do happen. Okay, I've done a couple test drive trips around the block just to verify that there are no other drivability issues, and to verify that check engine light has not returned, which it has not. All that being said, I'm going to go ahead and call this one good, and I'm going to just swing this back into the shop, document all the other stuff that I happen to have seen while I was under here. So we're not going to do any additional repairs on this 4Runner right now. The customer was, like I said, very happy that they didn't have to spend any more money on this, and they said they will return later on when they want to address some of the other stuff that's going on with it. Now is not the time, but maybe next month or so. All that being said, again, I'd like to thank all you guys for watching this video. I truly do appreciate it. And I also want to remind you to not forget to have a great day. See you, everybody. Oh, by the way, I know this video was super short, and if you did not get your fix for the day, don't worry. Just check the end screen and the links in the pinned comment and the description, and I'll put a couple of my favorite videos that I've got so far from this month in those areas, and just click on those links and it'll take you right to them. Power down. See you next time, Faux Runner.